As soon as we're essentially indoctrinated into a culture that's, let's just call it familiar with AI, because I think it's going to take a lot of brilliant minds collaborating, even just to understand the first rollout, but I'm sure it'll be like generation after generation just learning about these new waves of technology and how that impacts consciousness. And you know, it feels like, even to someone like me, that feels like I'm not going to live like in a concrete jungle my entire life. Learning to understand the implications of AI and its impact on consciousness, it's forcing us all to become quite philosophical, I would say. One might propose that we all would need to heighten our consciousness and be very well attuned to our thinking, to understand what is separate from our thinking, or the involvement of something modifying our thinking. Because, by the way, we're all in it right now. Your thinking is being modified, programmed, We're like a bunch of computers in that way. We're not technically robots, but we're all very programmable, right? And I feel like there's something about AI that just feels like it's becoming more streamlined in terms of, well, I'm just taking a bit of a guess here, but what it can do and how it can augment reality and consciousness in terms of our ability to have agency and autonomy over our own thinking. We're probably going to see a lot less of authentic, autonomous thought that isn't on some level going through the lens or being filtered through AI. And I think it's kind of terrifying if you think about what a filter is, but I don't want to fearmonger. I just want to acknowledge, if you consider what a filter is, right? Everything's going to just become more filtered in some sense. And what is an unfiltered reality, right? Just being out in nature is kind of like you're living a more unfiltered reality. But I think an unfiltered reality is stripping away comforts. It's stripping away security. It's stripping away stability and safeguards. And there's a lot of chaos in a fully unfiltered, raw version of reality. If you've ever smoked DMT, you know what I'm talking about. And I almost wonder what the more extreme other side of that polarity might be. Mosquitoes are fucking with me again. Let's roll. I think the mosquitoes are watching me. The nanotechnology mosquitoes. No, but in all honesty, seriously, like the other side of that polarity of everything being kind of chaotic and disorderly, let's just call it the DMT realm, right? And anything similar to it. Just the most authentic, unfiltered experience of consciousness. But then everything, when it's being kind of just pushed through a peephole, right? When we're all just taking a little microdose of life. It's kind of what we're doing right now. But let's just say you take that even further. How can we even consider what that's going to be like when everything is already so, we feel like we're getting such a filtered, diluted taste of what reality actually is? But can we consider that it might get even further diluted and everything will get even further filtered and what we consider reality won't be reality anymore? And I'd suppose not to sit here and freak out about that either, you know. What reality was in the 1900s isn't what reality is now. Sure. But there's something about perception. There's something about the way the mind alters and, in a sense, changes perception. We know a lot about this in psychology, right? Confirmation bias is a good, clear example of that. We're looking for something that confirms what we think is going on, and we just very simply
feel drawn to the things that confirm that, and we completely ignore the things that, in some sense, contradict that.